Hello, ladies and gentlemen. My name's Stepsbasic, and welcome back to my community show. So yeah, no singing today. We got a bit of a heartbreaking episode we have to talk about here, and yeah, it's not a fun one. In fact, I tried to get it done last week, but I couldn't do it. Ended up going on a rant, getting all angry and stuff, and yeah. But first, let's do our announcements, get those out of the way. Next week, I'm going to be doing Borderlands 2. I'm going to be doing combining all my Tales from the Borderlands episodes to get them all one episode per episode. So don't feel obligated to watch them again if you don't want to. They're going to be the same stuff we've already seen, but just put into one video, and I'm going to remove the stuff that got me a copyright claim on them. Some of them I'm going to snip them down a bit so that I don't get the copyright claim again. But apart from that, it's just going to basically be the same thing. Borderlands 2 DLC will be next week, and hopefully I'll be able to start putting together some of my funnier content stuff. I'm not really sure considering how things are going right now. I have Chompers here, and that's the basic reason for the video. This is my buddy right here. You remember him. He's been in a few videos. I've been trying to keep him off the camera for a while because, well, quite frankly, not to put too fine a point on it, he's dying. And it's nothing I've done, and it's nothing anyone in my family has done. He's dying because he's 16 years old, and honestly, he's 3 years older than he should be. He's been around for a minute, and like if you look back at some of my early content on my main channel, you can actually see him much younger, and quite frankly, he has been a great member of my family, and we have loved him very much throughout the years. But like I said, he's an old boy, and he's got so much time he's lost. I'm going to slightly touch on it just so you know why I was ranting last week, but I'm not going to talk about it anymore. Pets have always been a treasure to me. Animals and whatnot have always been kind of a big point in my life that I just love, and being able to connect with an animal like this and have them trust me and me trust them explicitly, and to be able to even help my boy here live 3 years past his due date, as it were, has just been an honor. One of my biggest honors in my whole life. And there's been a few things going around lately with YouTubers and streamers who have been making content that featured them doing pretty bad things to their animals. One chucked a cat, and one essentially beat her dog and spit on him, although she denied it. That's all I'm going to talk about on those, because honestly, I'll just get angry again. And I don't want to do that. Because what I want this to be is a sort of memorial for my dog. I don't know how much longer he's got, honestly. He could be dead within a week, carry on for another year. He is a bit stubborn. He has been since I've known him. So let's talk about when we first got our Chomper boys. Little Chompers. And look at him, he looks so comfortable. It's like the only place he's ever comfortable anymore is just in my arms. But I can't keep carrying him around. So this starts back in 2009 when my wife moved her mom in with us. Well, I say she moved her in with us. I moved her in with us too. In fact, I did a lot of the heavy lifting. And she brought our boy Chompers. Now, Chompers was a lot younger back then. To put it in perspective, he's lived with me for 10 years. And he's 16 now, so he was a lot younger back then. Still had color in his face. He still had a tail back then, too. I don't know if you know this, but my boy doesn't have a tail. And, he's a good boy. But that was actually a scary moment in our life when he chewed his own tail off. And honestly, I couldn't get him to stop. I tried a lot of things, including coning him and bandaging him, but that's a longer story. See, when he was younger, before I had him, back when he lived in Arizona still, he got hit by a car. And his tail was paralyzed. And so to a dog, he sees a paralyzed tail and all he thinks is, that's a foreign entity on my butt. And so he chewed it off. I made sure he didn't get infection, with the vet and everything. All the important stuff you do when dogs get hurt. I did that because, well, I don't want my poor Bubby to die. And so he chewed his tail off. Now, of course, he didn't want to be here. He didn't want to live with us. And this kind of deals a little bit, so I'm going to be very careful talking about this. I essentially established dominance over him as soon as he got here, and I know some people may take that to mean that I was abusive or, mean to him. I wasn't. And you don't have to be to assert your dominance over the dog. You basically just establish boundaries and maintain the boundaries. And that's how we do it. The only thing I really did that was quote-unquote violent to him was he bit me, and I bit him back. And it's not like I bit him to draw blood, but I bit him to say, hey, you don't get to bite me. And he didn't even get hurt, didn't yelp or nothing. He just like, what was that? It was kind of funny because he ran away, and I ran after him, and I picked him up. And, of course, he did exactly what dogs do. And he bit me right here on the palm. And didn't scar or nothing, but I bled a little bit. And so I just, went back, bite him on the head. It didn't hurt him. Don't worry. But, that's one of the ways you can establish dominance. I think, what was his name? Caesar something or other, the dog whisperer. He used to talk about doing the psst, where you bite him with your fingers. That way you're not biting him with your mouth, but it's essentially the same thing. The same strength. It doesn't hurt, but it is surprising. And you do it with a growl like, arr. And it's exactly what you're doing. It's just with your mouth instead of your fingers. He took to me. He imprinted on me pretty well, and he became my shadow for a while. So when Oma, which is Potato Nana's grandma, went back to Arizona, she couldn't take the boy because the boy was already a bit too old. And we didn't want to put him through another flight back to Arizona, especially considering you never know how bad it's going to be when he gets into the cargo and everything. So I got a new dog. He wasn't Oma's dog anymore. He was my dog. And he's been a good little boy ever since. And he has been a staple in my life for 10 years. And, take him out for his walkies. Give him his little foods. Give him baths, which he hates. And that's where the first sign we noticed that he was getting too old was about 3 years ago, maybe 4 years ago, when he couldn't go for walks anymore. Before, I'd grab his leash and he'd get the zoomies, and the zoomies. And he'd run around and everything, but then he slowly got to the point where he couldn't get the zoomies anymore. I'd grab his leash. He would do his best. He'd grab a hold of the leash with his mouth, and that'd be about it. And I'd make it down the block, and he'd lay down and couldn't go anymore. So he became an indoor dog. No more walkies. Which also led to the fact that I had to learn how to clip his nails and keep them clipped because, after so long, that's that, because a little known fact is that's how dogs wear down their nails is through walking. They'll walk on harder surfaces and wear down their nails and whatnot, and that'll keep them sharp and fresh and everything. But if they don't go for walks and all they do is spend time in the house on softer floors, they don't wear down their nails. So that's why I had to learn to clip his nails. There was a little bit of a touch and go there because I barely remember to clip my own nails. In fact, I think I need to do that again. And so there was a little bit of a time there when I didn't cut his nails like I should have. When it picked up a nice little tool that actually makes it a lot easier to cut his nails and such. Hey, buddy. How you doing? Now, I'm not sure how many pictures I've had of him where he has been, at his best, but nowadays he's nowhere near what he used to be. I mean, you can look at him right now, look at his scruffy little head, and you're like, oh yeah, that's a dog who's got some issues. He lost all of the hair on his butt. Part of it was from chewing on it, and other parts of it was from the fact that he just, getting old. It wasn't until this year that he started losing the hair on his head. And it's really thin up here. It's so thin you can actually see straight through to the scalp. Like over here, he still got some color, but even there, you can still see right through. And down here, you can see the pink. Still got that white muzzle, though, huh? Your little beard is all gray. The unfortunate part is caring for a pet is expensive, especially when they start to get old and have problems. And 2 years ago, we got a bad case of fleas, and I've invested upwards of $1,000, probably almost $1,500 in treatments for him. But it's just gotten worse. We've kept it under control for a bit, and then it come back, and nothing we did seemed to get rid of them. I discovered actually a neat little, I guess you call it a hack or something, but a good way to get rid of fleas is Epsom salt water, and give them a bath in Epsom salt water. But you got to be careful with it because salt will dry out their skin, so you'll have to keep them like lotioned up and treat them well and everything. Actually, we didn't discover that until a couple months ago, when I had a sudden epiphany, just sitting there petting my puppy, and just realized, hey, salt could kill the little buggers. But even at the time now, it's at the point where they're already everywhere. So even killing them on him isn't helping much. I gotta bomb the house. But he's a good boy. He scoots right on the nose there. Now, we've seen a lot of things. Like, I saw him go from being able to jump up on my bed to being able to kind of bounce his way up there to now when he just needs somebody to pick him up. He walks around the house and lays around the house whimpering, just in pain. The worst part is I can't afford to take him to the vet right now and have it taken care of, as it were. All I can do is, keep treating him. I give him some children's Tylenol and keep giving him his salt baths. The salt baths are actually good for other things too, like his achy joints. But even still, I watch him. He goes to eat his food and he practically has to sprawl out on the floor to get to it because he can't bend his head down anymore. I'm thinking I'm going to put a book under his food dish so he can reach it better. It's never easy, watching a loved one come to the end of their life. Especially, someone you've been close with for so long. And there's not been a single night when he didn't sleep in my bed. Maybe back in the beginning, but, especially since me and my wife split, he's always lived in my arms, basically. And, I love the pupper. He's a good boy. He's always been a good boy. The best boy, if you will, I'm making this video on. This is technically a stream of consciousness video because of the fact that I need to work through some stuff. I don't handle it well. First time I lost a pet was, well, not the first time, but the first really big time I lost a pet was my cat Misty. I was on deployment and I got a message from my mom telling me that she put her down because she got fleas and then stopped eating. Luckily enough, Chompers hasn't stopped eating yet. He's still pretty good at eating, even though he kind of has to lay down for it. And I just broke down, fresh in the Navy, first year in the Navy, walking to deliver money to somebody, and just the emotions got too powerful, and I just fell to the floor. Then after that, it was Spaz. Technically, it was my wife's cat. Back in the day, she brought him with her when she moved in. And me and Spaz got close quick. I've always had a knack of being close with animals. They trust me, I trust them, sort of thing. It's all about, respect. You treat your animals with respect, they know it. And don't be afraid. Don't treat them like they're a villain or anything. And they learn to respect you. And Spaz was much the same. And I remember when we had Spaz put down, he had been diagnosed with FIV and leukemia at the same time. Go figure. And it was funny because I didn't even know there was an FIV, which is feline AIDS, for those of you who don't know. And to think he got both of them, that and leukemia, at the same time. Well, it got to the point where it was best to just put him down because there was no way we could treat him. And we had a game. I called it the kangaroo game, where I would come in and I would just pet him on the chest, like squish, 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 and he would wrap his arms around my hand, and then he'd just kick with his hind legs. It shredded my arm, scratched me all to heck, but it was fun. And Spaz had fun doing it, and I had fun doing it. And I remember when we put him down, I meant to do it one last time, just to have one more kangaroo game with him. But I forgot until I watched him fall. I watched him with his little drunk stance and then just collapse to the table, and I'm like, the kangaroo game. I forgot the kangaroo game. And I tried to do it again. And I tried to do it again, I tried to do the kangaroo game, but it was already too late. He was gone. And now I know my best boy here, he's looking at the same thing. And I want to do it upright, I want to get our memorial for him, split him up, have him cremated and everything, but just looking at the prices, I have to take him in, have the vets make sure that he is at that point. I have to pay for the euthanasia, and I have to pay for the cremation, and the cheapest I've seen is about $500. And I've checked a lot of places. There's some places that I'd really rather not associate myself with because of bad practices and inhumane treatment in the past. I'm not going to mention their name because honestly, they don't need it. They don't need the publicity. And I've talked to the SPCA out here. And right now, the best bet we have is surrendering him to a shelter. And to be perfectly honest, that might be the best thing for him. But I'm selfish. I really don't want to. I just want to be there for him when he goes. And knowing that he's so close to the edge now just hurts, because I just want to help him, but I can't. All I can do is make his last few days with me comfortable and hope that if I do surrender him, he gets the proper treatment. Still, the biggest advice I can always give with your pets is to love them while they're here. Always be there for them. Don't become a pushover, of course. In your house, you need to be boss, but be with your pets. Love your pets. Take care of your pets. And maybe your dogs can live 3 years past their expiration date too, huh? Now I've made this video, I'm wondering if I'll be able to post this one. But I didn't get angry this time. That's the important part. Maybe I have like a problem. I get far too attached to my animals. Because to me, I mean, I don't see them as people. I see them as better than people. I don't know if you guys are going to want me to announce when I've done what I've done, whatever we end up doing. I don't know if you guys are even going to care too much about this video. I mean, this video is more for me than for you anyway. It's just, this might very well be the last time I talk about this. Because honestly, I don't know if this is even helping me yet. I do these stream of consciousness videos in an attempt to think my way through things. Oh. But honestly, this boy, has been a good boy. He's been there for me. He's been there for my daughter. Oh, he was there for her mom. Oh. And you're going to keep being a good boy, aren't you? You're going to go up and chase them squirrels, aren't you? You're going to go get them squirrels up in heaven, aren't you, buddy? It's funny, I don't usually baby talk to my dog. I'm actually very strict about that. I want him to receive the best big boy talk that you can get. You want to go back down? You want to go back down, buddy? And there you go, buddy. Oh, you fall over. I've had to hold him so much lately. Part of me is like, yay. You get to cuddle with my puppy. The other part of me is like, I know what this means. If I'm the only place he can be comfortable, that's saying a lot. I'm going to keep doing it, though. Anyway, I think this is probably one of the few times that my stream of consciousness didn't make me feel better afterwards. Anyway, thank you guys. Y'all have a good night.